I'm Sherry Margolis. Coming up at 6 on Eyewitness News, Jesse Jackson leads protests at General Motors and MCI. He's accusing them of being unfair to their workers. Police in Warren changed their minds and give the okay to some spectacular holiday decorations, but not without a compromise. Chrysler's latest profit numbers are out. Ford is recalling hundreds of thousands of cars, and GM is handing out holiday bonuses. Plus, a man denied religious freedom for more than 20 years in the Soviet Union is now with his family. These stories, along with sports and weather, coming up at 6. I'm Sherry Margolis. Coming up at 6, shopping in Canada, why it's an even bigger bargain than you think. If you don't have perfect vision, our medical reporter shows you a place where you may get help. An emergency medical crisis has one local hospital turning patients away. And 'tis the season for tax forms. We'll show you what you're in for. And we'll show you the historic Voyager landing. Also, a very unusual collection of golf balls. All that and more coming up on Eyewitness News at 6 o'clock. We'll see you then. I'm Sherry Margolis. Coming up at 6, the Metro Airport madness seems to be getting worse, but not because of what you might think. A holiday travel horror story turns into a happy ending for two strangers. And if you don't have any money to buy presents, we'll show you how some people are getting around that. Plus, what'll be the fads in 1987? You may be surprised at some of the predictions. And also, why is someone giving away free fur coats and where? I'm Sherry Margolis. Join us at 6. I'm Sherry Margolis. Coming up on Eyewitness News at 6 o'clock, 2 women have been kidnapped in our area. One of the abductions has ended in fire and death. A plane crash in Fiji takes the lives of 3 former Metro Detroit area residents. The families of the Challenger astronauts have ended their legal battles. Why is GM so successful in Europe? We'll answer that question. And Ford racks up a big victory over the Japanese. You might be able to take that cruise you've always wanted to on Lake Michigan. We'll have these stories and more at 6. I'm Sherry Margolis. Coming up at 6 o'clock, dialing for dollars, why some phone calls will cost you less in the new year. Will there be a happy new year for one troubled Michigan city, or is the price too high to save e-course? Just what costs will you be paying for the holidays? We'll have a medical update. Plus, new meaning for the old saying, you can't take it with you. A few medical marvels you may not know about, and a unique way to pay for your divorce. We'll have these stories and much more coming up on Eyewitness News at 6 o'clock.
Coming up on Eyewitness News at 6 o'clock here, the new year starts off with a story of a local hero, a police officer who saves 4 lives from a burning car overnight. Also, starting today, you're going to have to watch where you smoke in public buildings. Governor Blanchard starts his second term and calls on Michigan to meet a global challenge. And we're going to show you what some folks did today instead of watching the Rose Bowl. Ted Texter does it again, his annual New Year's Day polar bear dip in the water. All your news back here tonight with Sherry, myself, at 6 o'clock.
Coming up on Eyewitness News at 6 o'clock, we'll talk with a local resident who survived that hotel fire in Puerto Rico. Shades of Big Brother in downtown Detroit. The city wants to put up TV cameras to look for criminals, but they'll also be able to watch everyone else. How should doctors dress? Lab coats or jeans? We'll have the results of a patient survey. And Ed McNamara talks about what he hopes to accomplish as Wayne County's new executive. We'll tell you what thin ice can mean for you legally and using credit cards to pay your income taxes. These stories and much more tonight on Eyewitness News at 6. Coming up on Eyewitness News at 6, can Peggy and Lee get back together again? We'll have exclusive details. And are there layoffs ahead for Wayne County? Well, that's what the new county executive, Ed McNamara, says he has in his mind. 3 major stores in our area have agreed to stop carrying fruit sprayed with a possible cancer-causing agent. And the doctor says going to work when you're sick can be good for you. The Car of the Year has been announced. We'll have that. And the Bears have done it. The Broncos have too. And now there's a union with a shuffle to do. These stories and more on Eyewitness News at 6. Coming up on Eyewitness News at 6 o'clock, suburban police are worried that drug dealers will be the big winners of their city's financial plight. Detroit City Council President Irma Henderson has a plan to make sure that parents pay a price for their kids' crimes. Members of the Michigan Supreme Court pick a new Chief Justice today. The winner was a big surprise. And Congress was sworn in today and also picked its leaders for both houses. Plus, when should your baby's blood pressure be checked? And we'll continue our series on people to watch in '87. See you at 6 o'clock. Coming up tonight on Eyewitness News at 6 o'clock, General Motors makes some big changes. They were announced today. Tonight, the impact on the worker and the consumer. Also, word of a new drug that offers hope for people with kidney problems. Our medical reporter, Kay Lowry, has details. That plus has this mild weather put a big chill on a popular ice show in the metro area. We'll have an update. And a shelter for the homeless was ordered closed. But what's the latest today? Patrick Ewing makes his debut at the Silverdome. Join us for these stories and much more tonight at 6. Good afternoon, everyone. Coming up tonight on Eyewitness News at 6 o'clock, are suburban students turning to teen gangs? A live report on growing violence in the suburbs. Are you being taken for a ride on how much you pay for your credit? We'll tell you the best way to shop around. And will Wall Street make its way around the 2,000 mark? If it does, what does that mean for you and me? Plus, can fish oil really help our hearts? And there's a bunch of car commotion going on in Detroit. We'll tell you what it is. I'm Kathy Adams. Join us tonight at 6 o'clock. Coming up on Eyewitness News at 6 o'clock, Chuck Gatica says that first big snowstorm of the winter is headed our way. The Detroit Auto Show starts tonight with a big black tie gala. We'll have complete coverage, including an interview with the president of AMC, how those cars of the future are designed, and Motor Trend's Man of the Year. Plus, there are plans to lay off scores of workers at Northville Mental Hospital. We'll tell you about that. And Lance Parrish is a free agent again. We'll talk with him live, right here tonight on Eyewitness News at 6. Coming up on Eyewitness News at 6, growing up is harder than ever. That's the first report in our special series on kids' problems. It's all a part of our For Kids' Sake commitment here at Channel 2, which started today with a luncheon for community leaders. Also at 6, they thought it was fixed, but another problem has sprung up at the Silverdome. Wayne County's new executive says the county's deficit is nearly 3 times what it's expected to be. And the Westland Medical Center may change hands again. Join us at 6 o'clock.